Hello, hello, it's Patty Joe. Time to hear the Doral statements. Uh, got my new microphone. So now I can mute so you don't have to hear like me cough and other like that. I swear I should not be trusted with any kind of technology. Oh my God. Okay, took my granddaughter on a trip to the beach. It was her first time at the beach. She wanted to build a sandcastle. She was successful at that. Creepy things about this trip, and I will pepper these in. You must know that my granddaughter looks like my late mother. My mother passed away several years ago. My mother had a very distinct dark Sicilian look with dark eyes and dark skin and dark hair, and obviously I have it too. Um, but my granddaughter has these eyes that look like my mother, and even though she is biracial, so there's some differences. This that caramel color, the dark curly hair, and those eyes. She looks at you sometimes with these eyes, and it's just like my mom is staring into my soul. So, lately I've been questioning things, and, at the end of my fire department time, questioning things and so forth. And we're driving, or no, we had just gotten there. We were taking a break, and we get ready to go to the beach, and we're just like getting dressed and stuff like that. And she looks at me and she says, "I knew you when you were a little girl." Ooh. It gets worse from there. So the next story, okay. All right, so that's enough of the good stuff. Let's see the disgusting troll, monster, goblin, and what he's got. He's already primed up for his show. I don't know if I can with him today. He's like ready for the show. This is all a show to him. Totally ready for it. I'm not sure I watched this when it came out. People are moving around, so. Oh. See if we can catch that. That's it. That's the one you're going to see for this one. Look at that. Oh, what imbecile. Oh. Hope it means it's coming up soon. God, when does this start? swear I have it on right.
We're requesting if the court would.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay. We're gonna stick through this right here. Because I have a funny feeling this is worthwhile.
Good afternoon, everyone. The court will call State of Wisconsin versus Daryl Brooks, case number 21 CF 1848. May I have the appearances, please?
Good afternoon, Judge Sue Apper, Leslie Basie, and Zach Wichow, appearing for the state of Wisconsin.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Daryl Brooks, Jr. Here for this matter without prejudice by special appearance, and I would like to ask, if it pleases the court, that someone can please render the account for me at this time.
With the appearance of Mr. Brooks is noted, the court will not be addressing that last request of yours. We are here today to continue with the sentencing hearing. I do have the Zoom up. I have not brought in any of the individuals from the waiting room just yet. I wanted to know if there was anything the court needed to address before bringing those individuals in and then turning to Mr. Brooks to start his portion of the sentencing hearing from the state.
There's two issues that I'm aware of, Your Honor. One is we're requesting if the court would briefly allow a young girl by the name of Brooke, who provided an impact statement yesterday, to read that statement again. She felt like she did not get a good chance to do that yesterday, and it's a brief statement if you would just allow that. And then I just wanted for the record to let the court know that at the close of today's hearing, we will be prepared to address the motion for stay pending appeal.
All right, thank you. Can you remind me, was she interrupted at all based on anything that went on yesterday? Was that either the court taking a break?
Yes, it was related to, or Mr. Brooks' removal from the courtroom, yes.
All right, any comment or position on the request that she be able to restate her victim impact statement prior to the people we have on Zoom for you making their statements, sir?
I don't recall that particular victim being interrupted because of the issue with me being sent to the other courtroom. I think it may have been a break.
What difference does that make, you goblin? Okay, it doesn't make any difference. She was interrupted. She has a right to make a statement.
That may have cut that particular victim off from the statement.
So what?
Whatever the circumstances were, I have a request from a victim to give a statement. I'm going to honor that request and allow her to make that statement before I turn things over to you and the people who are on Zoom on your behalf, okay? Other than that, is there anything else you wish the court to address before I hear from victims or your family members?
Yes, I just wanted to let the court know that there will be, in fact, 4 people speaking on my behalf, if that pleases Your Honor.
All by Zoom?
Yes, correct.
Are they all on your list?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
No new entries. All pursuant to what I submitted to Your Honor.
Madam Clerk, do we have 3 or 4 individuals on by
I
Zoom?
have 3. I guess I just wasn't clear if the 4th was going to be.
Is the 4th with another of the individuals that already is on our Zoom? Do you know?
I believe the 4th was trying to access the Zoom link. They expressed that they had already had the Zoom ready to speak on my behalf, but they were having a little bit of trouble, I guess, accessing the link from the courts.
tell us the individuals you have on by Zoom right now.
I have Mary Edwards, Dawn Allworth, and Dawn One, that I assume is Woods.
All right, who would be the fourth then? So
Miss Marsha Winters.
Marsha Winters. Oh, yeah, we don't have a Marsha Winters on. I know your mom has the Zoom information. It's an ID, a meeting ID and a password, not a link. So hopefully that can
I
be.
think he sent the link too. He created the
Oh,
link
he
as
created the
well,
link.
so
All right.
There should be both.
I'll have Madam Clerk also put in the chat to the Zoom the meeting ID and password once again and indicate that it can be provided to Ms. Winters,
Yes, Miss Winters, correct.
should she need it.
That might be the mix-up maybe she was having. Maybe she thought it was a link, or I'm not sure.
There can be a link, and the clerks have that as well, so we'll get it.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah,
put it in
'cause-
the broadcast. There's a chat function. We'll get it in there so they can pass it on, and hopefully at the appropriate time she'll be able to join.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, then with that, if Brooke would like to stand up, I know it's a minor. And thank you, the microphone is being handed to her. All right, go ahead, and thank you for being here.
Hello, my name is Brooke Sorensen. I'm Virginia Sorensen's granddaughter. The things I miss about my grandma are me and my sister Mackenzie doing foot races around the driveway, and my grandma would do commentary and time us. She always cheered us on at all of our activities. I would DJ at dance at granny parties and carry the banner at parades with my grandpa while Grammy danced. When we would get on the school bus, she would say reading is the key to learning to be nice, kind, brave, and angels watch over you. After school, we would talk on the porch. Other times when we came over to her house, we would play games together, go to the playground, have drawing contests, dance parties, and work on granny routines. She would give us snacks when we watched some of our favorite movies like Polar Express and Coco. When we first found out that she was gone, I started to cry, and I would cry every night. I missed her so much and still do today. Daryl Brooks, you took her from me, my sister, and my family. The things we will miss the most are not seeing her again, her smile, her laugh, being able to talk to her, and doing fun things with her. My sister and I pray every night for our Grammy and our family. Grammy, I will see you in my dreams, and I know you will be watching over me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor, for accommodating that request, and we have nothing further at this time.
All right, then we will bring in the individuals who are on the Zoom, and then I'll give them some instructions on how that should proceed. Do you have all three trying to join?
I admitted all at the same time. Michelle has her video off. Mary has her video off. Dawn.
Is this your mom? Yes. All right, so I can see Dawn Woods on the Zoom. Miss Woods, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. I know you have your camera on. You're unmuted. There are two other individuals on the Zoom. They currently have their cameras off. I believe they're both muted. I would just simply ask that we take one person in turn. You are on the Zoom. It is viewable in the courtroom. I want to acknowledge, ma'am, I did receive what I believe is a written statement that you faxed to the court.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then if that is, I'm not sure who joined us at the moment. All right, is that Ms. Edwards? Yes. All right, Ms. Edwards, if you could please, I'm gonna have Ms. Woods talk first, and then I'll have you next. If you could keep your camera off and your microphone muted until it's your turn to talk. That way I can give my full attention to Ms. Woods.
Sure.
There we go. Very good. Thank you. All right. So once again, Ms. Woods, I believe you sent in a fax yesterday. Is that right?
No, I believe it was this morning.
Oh, this morning. All right. I have
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
and I've read it. Go ahead. What would you like to tell the court? And thank you for being with us today.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. I have two things I would like to tell. One is a written statement, Your Honor, and then I have a poem I would like to read after my statement, if that's permissible.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Mental illness affects everyone. It destroys lives, families, and hurts society. For far too long, it's been a dirty little secret in families that no one wants to talk about. Mental illness is the elephant in the room that so many pretend it's not there. People who suffer from it are often shunned by families and friends, rejected by society, and made fun of, the subject of bad jokes, ridiculed, and judged on YouTube, podcasts, Facebook, and other media posts, used in campaign ads, disrespected, stripped of their dignity. No one cares. No one sees their pain or hears their cries and pleas for help. They are the forgotten ones and viewed by many of not having a place in a society. It is no fault of their own that they have become ill and began to change from the person we all knew. Once viewed as fun, loving, and kind, are now the outcasts of society. We say what's wrong with society? They're idiots, unfit. They need to be disposed of, thrown out with the rest of the trash. They serve no purpose. The saying, my brother's keeper, doesn't apply to them. And the Bible, in the book of Philippians chapter 2, verse 4, it says, let each of you not look only to his own interests, but also the interests of others. Mental illness caused them to do the unthinkable. They must be punished. Yes, I agree, there should be some accountability for their actions. But we also must render help. What good is punishment without correction to prevent the act from happening again? In their cases, or many of their cases, treatment, therapy, medication, hospitals, and institutions that specialize in helping those who suffer with mental illness need to be offered. And I believe these places can help those who suffer become mentally well.
Who are you talking about? Even if the root of this is a mental defect or illness, you fed it by not making him accountable for anything. You allowed him to pull a weapon and actually pew pew at your dead daughter's children over a cell phone, continuing to enable him to commit crime after he's 40 years old. P.S. Putting my paramedic hat back on, most mentally ill people are not violent, but violent people can be mentally ill. It's kind of like cholesterol and a heart attack. Just because the hormone exists doesn't mean, or firefighters in the fire, just because firefighters are at all fires doesn't mean that the firefighters had something to do with the fire. This is the only way she knows how to deal with this.
I believe lawmakers and society as a whole need to recognize mental illness. Mental illness cannot be eradicated with prison bars. Mental illness is going to always
send my son to prison.
Be there. It's invasive. With treatment and therapy, medication, and hospitals and institutions that specialize in the treatment of mental illness, it can be controlled. What else can we do as a society to help those who suffer from mental illness? How about showing a little compassion, empathy, and some understanding? Families need to advocate for those who cannot speak for themselves or who struggle to understand what's happening to them. Lawmakers should support by providing resources to individuals so they can get the help they need. Now, I've been dealing with mental illness for over 30 some odd years.
Yours or his?
And here's my take on it. And I think I have a little insight on it. From the surface, I believe that treatments need to be offered. I believe that if treatment is offered early, when the signs of mental illness first shows, and it's addressed and stayed on top of, instead of let people lagger and fall through the cracks, just maybe there would be less court cases and less people crying because their loved ones was hurt or was injured or killed because someone
So it's their
of mental
fault?
illness
It's society's
attacked
fault.
them. Maybe that needs to be done.
Oof.
Treatment needs to be done early and right away and stayed up on, and not let people fall through the crack holes and
The
not
crack hole?
being shunned out the door. It's the same. You don't have a mental illness. You're just a bad person and needs to be locked up. Jail is not the only answer.
It is here.
Help, treatment, hospitalization, and medication. It plays a big role in preventing this where we are today if it would have been offered sooner. Now,
And whose
I
job
have
is
a
that?
poem that I have adopted,
Oh God, a poem.
not just
A
for my
poem.
son Daryl, but for all the people who suffer from mental illness. And I let this be
This woman is delusional.
my theme and some inspiration. And I hope that Daryl will find strength in this poem. I sent it to him.
Poem.
And it's a poem that was written by the late, great Maya Angelou. I don't know if you're familiar with her writings,
No.
but she was a brilliant poet. And she wrote this poem back in 1969 for a totally different reason. It was during the racial injustice era. But I believe it applies to those who suffer from mental illness as well. It's called Cage Bird.
Oh God.
A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to touch the sky. But a cage bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, and he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with fearful thrill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds that when soft winds with soft signs through the trees, and the fat worms waiting on the dawn's bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a cage bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on the nightmare scream. Their wings are clipped. Their feet are tied. They open their mouths to sing. The cage bird sings of fearful thrills, of things unknown, but longed for still. And his tune is heard on a distant hill. The cage birds sing of freedom. Everyone who suffers from mental illness is caged. All they want is to be free of their illness and become mentally well. I believe as a society, we have an obligation to help those become mentally well with treatment, medication, hospitalization, or sent to an institution where they can get the intense help. And if they have to stay for the rest of their lives away from society, at least they are getting the help they need to become mentally well. We are our brother's keepers. And I also want to say to the families who lost loved ones and those who suffered injuries, that I know their pain, and I pray that the Lord will continue to comfort and heal each of them. Thank you.
How about, I'm sorry for raising such a goblin. She's delusional. Ugh.
Allow me to speak.
God.
Thank you, Ms. Woods, and I should have said this earlier. I have 3 monitors in front of me, and the monitor that I'm pointing at right now is the monitor that the Zoom shows up, so that's why I look like I'm turned away, but I'm actually watching you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Then I'll turn next to Mary Edwards. If you want to turn your camera on and unmute, and then Ms. Woods, if you would.
Yes, ma'am.
If you want to take her camera.
Good afternoon.
And I should say for the record that obviously Dawn Woods was the first speaker, and then I have Mary Edwards. If you can let me know who's next to you, please.
Oh, there's no one next to me at the moment. Thank you. Okay. Are we good to go?
I need to know who's in the room with you because I saw them.
Oh, that's my husband.
Okay.
Okay, he's not in the room at the moment.
Well, all right. That's okay.
He's not here.
I just wanted to know I saw
Is the problem
someone.
with him being here?
No, he can be there since I know who it is. We'll just.
All right, it's my husband is here.
Will he be speaking
Okay.
or just you?
No, he's not speaking.
All right, go ahead. Thank you for being here today. And again, if I look like I'm looking to the side, it's because that's where the monitor that I can see you is located. So go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. For the record, my name is Dr. Mary Darlene Edwards, and I am not the wicked grandmother of the West. I am the grandmother of Daryl Edward Brooks Jr., and I asked to be here today for 2 reasons. First of all, from the bottom of my heart, I want to offer my sincere apologies to those who have been hurt so badly by what has happened here, this tragedy that has been caused by my grandson. I want to also apologize.
Almost an apology. She's sorry for what happened that was caused by him. No, he did this. I used to tell my kids, the apology does not have a but.
To the family of the little boy. I understand their name is Sparks. And to all of those whose lives have been damaged by this overwhelming tragedy. As a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, I want to give the family and those who've been hurt so badly the scripture, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." And I say this, please know that it's my prayer that my grandson will sincerely and humbly apologize and ask all of you and God for forgiveness for this horrible, terrible deed. Some of you have said that you will never forgive him. Please do not be like the man who drank the poison and hoped his enemy would die. Unforgiveness is a terrible disease, just like mental illness is. Truly, there have been many losses because of this tragedy. Daryl's mother has lost a son. I've lost a grandson. Daryl's children have lost a father. And Daryl has lost his mind and his life in the outside world. Daryl's behavior, including his voice, should get the attention of the powers that be, both near and far. Daryl has suffered from bipolar since the age of 12, and it was that disorder that caused him to drive through that crowd. It is my prayer that he will be treated for this illness and managed in a facility that addresses mental health concerns. We must start with a younger generation. Finally, I'm 80 years old, and I have been an ordained minister for the gospel of Jesus Christ for 47 of these 80 years. If you look at my background, you will see that God has used my life to bring about positive change in multitudes of residents in the city of Detroit and beyond. I share this information not to boast. That is not my intention, but rather to let you know that I care about people and their well-being. I've spent more than half of my life helping what the Bible calls the least of these, AKA society's rejects. Since this tragedy, I have become a mental health coach. This will help me better understand this horrible disease, which has plagued my family for generations. Presently, there is a church in Detroit that is planning to establish a mental health clinic on the east side of Detroit. Without hesitation, I will support this effort and do everything I can to help those struggling with mental illness. Before I close, I just want to share with you some facts with regard to mental illness. And I got this from the government's mental health website. There's a myth that said mental health problems don't affect me. Many people don't feel like it affects them. That's a myth. It affects everyone. It's a common problem. In 2020, and listen to this, 1 in 5 American adults experience a mental health issue. 1 in 6 young people.
Hold on a second, I just want to check. Make sure. Yep.
Experience a major depression episode. 1 in 20 Americans lived with a serious mental illness, such as
Being
schizophrenia,
delusional.
bipolar disease, or major depression. Suicide is a leading cause of death in the United States. In fact, it was the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 24. It accounted for the loss of more than 45,979 Americans in 2020. That's nearly double the number of lives lost to homicide. As a result of this great tragedy, I'm dedicated to living the next chapter of my life with a mental health awareness campaign. I have faith to believe that God will hear the voices of all of those impacted by this horrible disease, as well as the cries of the mentally ill. I thank you for this opportunity to share with you from the bottom of my heart, and my prayers will continue on for those who have been affected. God bless you all.
At least she said she was
Thank
sorry.
you,
She's
Ms.
delusional
Edwards.
too.
Is there anyone else on the Zoom, Madam Clerk?
No, and I reached out to Zach and he has not heard from anyone either.
All right, Mr. Brooks, we do not have anyone else.
Michelle Allworth, though.
Oh, we have Michelle Allworth.
Yes,
Sorry
it's
about
not
that.
Marshall Winters.
Thank you, thank you. All right, if Ms. Allworth then would start her camera and unmute, and we'll hear from her next. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And you are?
Hi, my name is Michelle Allward. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
I'm kind of
please.
sick. My son is here in the room with me. He's sick from homeschool.
That's okay. Go
My
ahead.
name is Michelle. My name is Michelle Allworth. I met Daryl Brooks Jr. 17 years ago when we both lived in Sparks, Nevada. He became my best friend, and over time we became brother and sister to each other. We shared so many good times, whether it was hanging out at the house, listening to music, movies, or just having conversations, a good laugh. He always had a smile on his face and the best laughs and jokes. Going out to theaters and a movie, going out to eat, attending Hot August Nights, which is a car show in Reno, Nevada, the rib cook-off. He shared with me multiple times on a daily basis since this has happened last year, how remorseful he truly is. Sorry. He is a very private person when it comes to his feelings and emotions, and it only happens with family and close friends. They say blood is thicker than water. Well, you can choose to make your own family. I've chosen to make Daryl part of my family. I will always have his back, even with this tragic event. I suffer from medical issues as well. I have epilepsy and cerebral palsy. My whole life, I've had it my whole life. Daryl was there several times that I had seizures. He called 911, went to the ER with me, stayed with me by my side when I went home, and helped in any way that he could help me. Sorry. Because of this reason and him being a family friend to me,
Put a
he
shirt on
lived
that
with me
child.
back in 2006 and again in either 2013 or 14. I'm glad he lived with me at those times because I black out during a seizure and I'm able to call 911. He lived with me for over a year. I wouldn't have let him had I not trusted him with my life. He had never shown any signs being this way on what happened November 21st, 2021. This is not the Daryl I know. He is a loving, compassionate, loyal, and humble person. He would give a complete stranger that needed it the shirt off his back, the last dollar in his pocket, or a place to stay. During this manic episode, he had blacked out the whole incident. I have prayed a lot since 2016 because of my medical issues and almost lose my life to a seizure, and even more now since this has all happened. I know what happened with those lives being lost and people being injured is terrible. It's something Daryl will have to live with for the rest of his life and always carry that with him, knowing this happened. I hope that he gets the help he needs for his mental illness. My hope as well is that he gets help in a mental facility, and that's it. Thank you very much for your time, everyone.
Thank you. All right, at this time, Madam Clerk, has anyone else joined the Zoom?
No.
All right, then at this time, the court will close the Zoom. The proceedings are being live streamed and family and friends can watch that way as well.
Is anybody buying
Mr.
this?
Brooks, I'll turn it over to you then. This is your opportunity to address the court.
Oh,
What, if anything, would you like
no,
to say, sir?
No. Taking a break. Oh my gosh. Just gonna take a break. Is anybody buying this? Seriously? If you are, comment, please. If you're buying this, I would like to know. No. Thank you. See you later.